Hello, Leo, and welcome to your monthly forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to look at the next 6 to 8 weeks together. I'm so glad you joined me. You can look at this anytime, whether it's before the month is happening or in the middle of the month. Good to see you no matter what. All right, we begin all of these monthly forecasts with channeled readings and channeled messages, and this comes to me through dreams and meditation. As I was focusing on my dreams this morning, there were two very clear symbols that came through. The first one that we're going to talk about is unlocking your potential, and it literally came from the metaphor of a locker that you would see in school. So for those of you that went to public schools, you know what I'm talking about. There were lockers, you would buy your own lock, and they're very narrow. Anyway, inside it was empty. It felt like you had already graduated, but you forgot something important. So you still had your key or your combination, and you opened it up. Once inside, I saw a check with a bunch of zeros. It represented to me not necessarily literally money in a locker, but hidden opportunities, maybe untapped potential, something maybe that you had forgotten about yourself, a gift or some sort of a skill that you kind of locked away. There could be an investment that you might have put in a drawer and you forgot about, and you're like, oh yeah, I need to deal with this, particularly if there's something that matures or has rolled over a few times and has gained value. This can also represent the need to keep things under lock. So if there is something that is private, like corporate secret, intellectual property, it could be like something under an NDA. There could just be something too that you're trying to develop first, and you want to be sensitive about it before you share it and get everything protected. So what I liked about this is that you held the code or the key to reconnect or reclaim or basically find a way to connect with that energy. So basically, this is your chance to say, I'm ready to open the door. I'm ready to try something new. I'm ready to tap into the potential. Also, people may not know my worth, but I know my worth. And that's basically what I saw when you went in there and got the check. You were excited. You're like, this is going to come in handy. So I do see a chance for you to unlock potential and unlock earnings, or find a way to basically see your worth. Self-worth equals net worth. And, you may not have all of that, the zeros on the check right now, but what I see is the more you value yourself and the more you open yourself to opportunities, the more you're going to connect with fruitful and also monetary gains in the future, okay? So that's that. Why did I choose the Eight of Swords? Well, because it is a card of opening your eyes. In this particular deck, we see a bird that looks like it's in a cage, but you can tell right in the front there's actually an opening, and of course there's actually no top to the cage. I'm grabbing the traditional Eight of Swords while we talk, but I like this one because it's basically just about looking in the right direction so that you can see that there's a way out, there's a way through, that there's an opportunity knocking. Your traditional card looks like this, and it's basically saying it's time to look beyond what others expect or what's obvious. You have to go inward. You have to trust yourself. You have to take a leap of faith. So in this card, it looks like the ceiling's gone. It's time to kind of push through. And it brings us to the next card, which was all around elevation. So elevated manifestation is what I titled this. In my dreams, I felt this sensation of almost being on a roller coaster. And, there's one sensation when you go down, there's another one when you go up. And it's almost like your consciousness, your body, your stomach is a few feet above you, and you're trying to, sort of like make sense of this. I'm here, but all my energy's here. We can actually connect that with the High Priestess, and she is about projecting yourself out a little bit. And if you can project joy, expansion, abundance, which is also what this previous message was about, unexpected, surprise, good, like abundance coming through when you least expect it, well, then great things can happen here. So you just want to start to see that there is another way, and imagine that things are connecting and things are aligning so that you can create a synchronicity. But it was a feeling of joy or elevation, or kind of like, oh, finally, I'm on the fun part of this journey. Okay, so let's use that this month as you start to connect to your own sort of goals and dreams. And please keep me posted in the comments and let me know how things kind of shake down over the course of the next 6 to 8 weeks. All right, let's give the cards a good shuffle. I'm using Tarot de St. Croix today. You can find a link to that on my website if you like this deck. As I said here, you can use this for your sun, rising, and moon. We'll be going into that a little later today. Let me get all the cards on the table and then we'll talk about what I see. There we go. All right. And let's expand this and get some additional insight with the other cards here. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully your month is getting off to a good start, and I appreciate you spending some time with me. These were stuck together, so let's just let them be stuck. Apollo's coming through in the background. I might pull him up if he wants to join. If I didn't have my cards already in my hands, I'd pull you up, buddy. All right, let's get started with the dual catalyst, and again, thank you to Mr. Apollo for joining us. The dual catalyst this month, again, catalyst helps spark change, create movement, get you in that right direction. We have two cards, the pilgrim on top and then the mask beneath. Since these are basically round cards, there's not really an upright or reversed. They were both not completely straight, like lined up like this. So what we can imagine here is looking from different angles. So we'll look at it as such. So the pilgrim to me is very much like the fool. So you may be asked to take a step in this direction or that direction. And you might be asked to also step outside of your comfort zone. This also has the same number as judgment, right? So this is also asking you to release your judgments and to sort of keep an open mind. By doing that, you can take a leap of faith and you might be surprised at what the universe offers up to you. Then we have the mask here. Again, also not completely upright. So this is about starting to remove the mask. I would say two things: to remove the sort of lenses that we almost inherit from our parents, like because of the way that we're raised or from society or from school. So it's like taking these glasses off and seeing the world with your own eyes. And it's also saying, I'm going to remove the mask that I show to the world sometimes and allow my true self or true colors to come through. So we get a little bit of the energy that you would get with the sun or the star there, which is revelation. I mean, it is still revelation because it's the mask. Sometimes it's just about allowing yourself to be comfortable with the fact that things are still filling in. So we have a mask here hiding the fact that there isn't something yet. And sometimes we put on a mask and we pretend like it's okay, but we don't know, or we're trying to make peace with ambiguity. Let's now go into the Celtic Cross and just sort of see what the messages are. Again, this will take us through the next 6 to 8 weeks. And we're going to start off with the two centermost cards. This is one of my favorite page of Pentacles because it invites you to keep an open mind. So this page was in reverse. If we look at the page upright, it's about picture perfect timing. It's about really being able to manifest things almost perfectly. But here's the thing. Sometimes, no matter how much you plan, no matter how perfect you want something to be, the universe has other ideas and it may throw you a curveball. Also, if we limit ourselves too much and we say it has to be exactly like this and nothing else, it's kind of like putting things in a box. This card is really asking you to look to the right and left because the things that don't fit perfect could actually be exactly what you need for growth, for fulfillment, etc. So this is a chance to imagine something bigger, and you can use this in your manifestation mantra. All of this or greater. If something isn't perfectly aligned to the way you want it, that's okay. See what you can do with it, making the most of it. Now let's just talk about a Page of Pentacles. This is about requesting money. It can also be about negotiating for time, energy, or resources. It's also about looking at where you're at in life. It's almost like an existential or a big, sort of like wake up call where you're thinking, did I get everything that I had envisioned? So this is a gut checkpoint where you're just sort of thinking, is this what I want? And it's up to you. Either way, you can say yes. And if it is, good. If it isn't, this invites you to use a different lens. I'm using different lenses for these two different views, and it's the same thing. It affords I'm showing you the same things, but from different angles, and it takes on a different context. So get perspective, talk to other people, take a step back. All of these things are comprised in this card. It's good to have a money and resource card smack dab in the center. We also have one of balance here with the Six of Pentacles. So I think you're going to find your footing financially and resource-wise this month. We'll talk more about it when I get into the environment. First things first, we have the King of Pentacles crossing the Page of Pentacles. For some of you, it's a chance to step into your own. This could be what was expected of you or what was maybe pushed upon you by others, but now you get to be the King of Pentacles. So this is your chance to really say, you know what, I stand for this. I want this. I don't want that. That doesn't represent me. And maybe it did your mom or your dad or your friend or your peer, but for you, you're your own person. King of Pentacles is also a very generous energy. So some of you may be looking to give back to the world, or you may have stumbled upon a mentor that's really just gracious with their time. And I love this. This card is basically putting this energy of abundance right smack dab in the center of this spread. And it's touching the sort of triptych at the center. So I always like to look at these three because you could have a reading with three cards, past, present, future. So let's look at that and let's look at how this affects it, and then we'll go on. So in the past, not the deep past, but recently, we have Page of Wands, a new idea, something that you're cultivating. It may not be what you imagined yourself doing, but it may be what your heart sort of desires. There's going to be opportunities to take this in new directions. You may be feeling like, you're not sure of yourself. There's questions you have to answer first. That's okay, because ultimately, once you feel good about it, others will as well. This is a good card. And in fact, if we take a look in the outcome, we have the Six of Wands. Yes, it's reversed, but it still represents success. So we'll take a look at all of the cards before I tell you why it's reversed, because I want to get the full story. But sometimes it can just be hesitation. So this is a chance to really say, I'm ready for success. I don't need to sort of feel a sense of fear or questioning of it. I'm like, bring it on. But let's look at all the cards in that, and I'll clarify after I get to the 10th card why it's reversed. I want to first look at your deep past, which I quite like here. We have King of Wands. So I want to start off by kind of acknowledging the inner work many of you have done on either dealing with figures of authority in your life, maybe feeling comfortable or confident enough to speak up and use your voice and your leadership skills, because this is more about leadership. King of Swords would be a little bit more about voice, but I do like this because it's innovative. It's a bossy card, and we want that sort of assertive energy. And it's also just really good at getting things done. So some of you may have just been King of Wands of your company of one, your party of one, and you've just been managing yourself well. It all starts there, folks. So whatever you've been doing, whether it just happened and you turned a new leaf or you've been doing this for a year or two, I saw you graduating in my dream too, as you went in and opened up that locker and got the check or the money or the sort of like value for what it was. So I also see it here with the Six of Wands. It feels like whether you see it or not, or whether others see it, the cards are showing it. My intuitive download showed it, and it's telling me that you've got this sort of ability to make it work. And I like that. So if I was hiring someone to manage something, I'd want this card. This is the best, at least in the minor arcana, next to like Emperor or Empress energy. So you're in a pretty good place to manage whatever comes your way. Great energy here in deep past. Now we have you kind of taking a step in a new direction here with the Page of Wands. And for some of you, this can also be about rekindling a sort of flame or a spark of something that you left in the past. I talked about locking something away. Sometimes when a dream doesn't come through the first time, we just say, well, forget about it. I can't handle rejection. I don't want to go down that road again. And you just put it in that safety locker or, safe deposit box. This is a chance now to come back and say, I don't think I'm done with that yet, right? We also have like this familial energy coming through. If you notice, the two kings can represent two parents. The two pages can represent two children. These can also be siblings, younger and then older. So we have the ties of friends and family coming through really strong here. And all of these are ultimately about you, but I also see the influences of friends and family. So let me just kind of put one thing out there for those of you that do have a lot of people either in your life now, or you might be thinking about them and they're, whether they're present or not. This is your path. This is your journey. This is the new page that you're writing. So these pages underneath and around these sort of heavy king cards represent the genesis or the birth or the movement of something new, a new idea and a new sort of sense of self-confidence. And I applaud that. I think that's something good. So don't let the other bosses or voices in the room take you out of this sort of inventive and innovative spirit. I hope to see it come to fruition. It's kind of nice to see. If you need something, sometimes you have to just show up and let someone know. Both of these cards, we're not really seeing communication as much. What we see here maybe is demonstration and then also showing people why it's worth it. The next piece, the missing piece, is communication. I'm looking really quick. We have a Knight of Swords here, so that's good. It does look like it will come around. But some of you are just getting all of your ducks in a row. You're trying to get everything set up so that this conversation is easier. I like that. So there's a lot of wind in your sails this month. We have in your crowning position the Nine of Cups. It's emotional energy. When it's a good day, it's a great day. When you let your fears or anxieties get to you, sometimes the wind ceases to kind of like fill the sails. So I would say take everything in stride. There's going to be things that are just nice and smooth and easy. There's going to be other things where you wish that you had slowed down a little bit. So try to just walk the middle when and if possible. But ultimately, when you get something like Nine of Cups, Three of Cups, it's also saying celebrate the little victories along the way. So when you do hit success and have a good day, or when it is an anniversary or something like that, lean into that, have some fun, make room for fun. The angels are in this card too, saying, don't forget, that's part of why you're here, is to experience joy. So I'm right behind them saying, yeah, let's have some fun this month. Make sure that you're putting that into your calendar, because we all do kind of make our calendars up to some degree. We decide how much we're going to watch or read this, how much we're going to do that, how much time we're going to think about someone. Let's make sure that you put a little bit of time in there for joy and for play and enjoyment as well. If you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, heavy emotions, obviously this would be a great time to talk to someone or to lean on to a friend or a trusted confidant, okay? This is the elevation. Well, we have two cards of elevation. I'm going to pull the traditional card in a moment, but Judgment is probably the quintessential card that I would associate with rising up. But the Seven of Cups is also pretty good. This is one of the few Seven of Cups you actually see on the table. Normally, this one would be in the air, and it's about thinking about new things, exploring new ideas, allowing them to sort of like take you wherever they need to. So I would encourage you, as you're brainstorming and thinking of new things, don't let somebody come in and take the wind out of your sails. Let them, basically give yourself a chance to dream, to explore, to ask the question, what if, why not, how? And then give some of these things a chance. The one thing that you want to be with the Seven of Cups eventually is discerning and say, okay, this is where I really feel like I can make a splash. Here's your traditional Seven of Cups. They're considering things. This one is much more divination. It's saying, what do I see in the patterns around me? So that would also fall into this one. But this one is also about bigger existential questions, the questions that would even inform this one. Why am I here? What do I want to do? Am I happy with why I am here? And if not, what else is out there? So they're like those big questions that keep us up at night. And this one is paying attention to the signs and deciding, well, I think this is what it means. I think this is what I want to do with that, okay? So you eventually, it's a combination. You ask the question and you find the answer. But you should give yourself time to consider all possible things. As a little kid, the Seven of Cups is much different. It would represent the dreaming and saying, I want to do this when I grow up, or what if I am this? You never stop dreaming, but sometimes we just don't give them as much weight when we're an adult. So I want you to focus a little more on your dreams and desires and questions. Allow them to be the compass that points you in the right direction, okay? We got 2 cards that stuck together. I tried to honor that whenever it happened today. So we have a word or an action followed by really quick movement. So I'm glad these 2 stuck together because they tell us a clear story. A simple yes or a simple no can almost immediately create desirable action. The 6 of Swords is a good card. It can be travel or movement, especially after a period of stagnation. It can be moving on to bigger, better, brighter things. It usually is expansion in the best ways. And for those of you that have been dealing with transition, loss, surprise, or any of the heavy emotions that sometimes come across your plate, this is also saying things are starting to move. So I just love that movement is there. It's waiting on a single word from you. So what's cool about this is we have the Knight here kind of doing the same thing that the Page was doing. So the Page of Wands is finding energy from dreams and thoughts here. This Knight is finding the silver lining, right? Because he's cutting through the clouds. This one was catching lightning. So what you might have to do this month is help somebody see the high road, the silver lining, the sort of like light at the end of the tunnel. And you may need to lead by example, and you may need to elevate your speech. All of these things are going to help you be more successful in the long run. But a simple question, how about this? Or consider me for this? Or would you like to go out? Or I need more. What can we do to make this happen? Speaking and using the data that this card would help you find and speaking to the ideas and bringing this together. Like, I think we can do it. It's worthwhile. I can see that this has been done. I'm willing to help with this. Are you on board? Literally. And if then I start to see some movement there. So don't be afraid to have those important conversations. In the environment, we have the 6 of Pentacles, which I quite love when it comes to just like finding balance or establishing balance in your life. Typically, you would see someone with a scale and also coins representing the exchange of energy, and each and every exchange needs to be weighed, and it can be weighed against the decision of success, or in this card it's a little different. It's love and it's joy, and it's saying, have I made time in my life for the things, also we got that with this card too, that bring me that sense of joy? And if not, why am I not doing that? Why am I not finding more joy, more satisfaction? And so basically, with the 6 of Pentacles, you can achieve that which you'd like, but what's required is basically discernment and communication of that. So saying yes to this because and no to this because, and not really mincing words. If you do that, you can establish balance. There's always going to be open hands. There's always going to be people asking for more. And you have to kind of establish those firm boundaries so that you don't end up feeling fatigued, so that there is enough fun and joy for you as well to kind of go around. What is this all about? When we look at opportunities this month, I already picked this card as well. We've got Judgment. This is the elevation that I was feeling. So we'll look at the traditional one, and then we'll look at the things that are unique in this one. In the traditional card, we can see souls rising up from the dead. And basically what this represents is after a chapter closes, sometimes even after something doesn't work, you get a chance to reinvent, and you get to decide, now what? What's next? What should I do with the time and opportunity that remains in front of me? And we have Gabriel here inviting you to answer that call, the higher calling that you want. In this one, we have a little tiny kid in the corner, and he's playing around in the spotlight. And it's the same sort of energy there. That's the reborn child. That's the soul that just got reborn. We don't have to die and then be born again to basically release karma, advance ourselves spiritually or intellectually. Every day is a clean slate or a fresh leaf on a piece of paper, and you get to sort of like decide, I'm going to do something cool with this. And that's really the decision here, is to release this feeling like I can't, it won't, I'll never. Like, let's take those words out. And then I always like to turn them around. Why can't I? When will I? How can I? Like, basically become your own journalist and basically find a way. This, if you can see it, you can do it. But you have to sort of see it within first. It's not so much about black and white or data in front of you. It's more sort of like heart and soul. I see myself as this. And that's why it was important to go through this phase. If you didn't get to do that as a kid or as a teenager, you get to do it now. And you think, I imagine myself as this. I would like to do this. This is my new dream. And I am not going to resist my dream. I am going to lean into it and see where it takes me. And where does it take you? To success. We have the Six of Wands. So the only reason I believe that this card is reversed after I took the journey of the month with you is because you may be trying to follow someone else's path to success. So yes, for mom, dad, grandpa, or teacher or friend, they may have had a certain formula that worked. But just like a recipe, that's just one recipe. There exists many, and if we only had the same thing, we just have like a couple flavors, it's so good that chefs are willing to go out there and say, what if we put a dash of this? What if I cook it for 5 minutes longer? What if I add this instead? So imagine yourself in front of the sort of cauldron of your life, and you're creating a new special brew for the next part of your life, and you're like, let's not do the same old, same old. I'm tired of plain old vanilla. Let's put some new things in. Let's spice it up. Okay? So you get to follow your own path to success. Also, this is especially true for those of you that have already achieved a certain amount of success or are perfectionists. This is saying the key to continue to be successful or to maybe even outperform what you did before is to do what feels right, not try to simply do what you think others want you to do. So we see this most often with movies, music, and art. When things are too fabricated, too perfect, too formulaic, they lose their punch. But when they come through and they better the original by just doing something different and taking twists and turns, that's when they stand out. So do what your heart and your mind and your dreams are informing you to do here. And this is going to be your compass to figure out which direction to go. It almost looks like an arrow, right? So it's got to be your dreams. And there should be a sense of joy and passion since we had two very joyful cards here. All right, at this portion, I'm going to expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to begin with health. And your message here is the clover. As the disclaimer said, I'm here to help you look at energy. So if anything's going on in your body, talk to a doctor. But the clover card is about saying, I'm going to make a change, make a difference. I'm going to use the energy of positivity and bring in a change of luck. I really do believe, folks, that we misunderstand luck. Luck is really someone who manifests and creates synchronicities well and recognizes them. So it's the belief and the understanding that you have the power to open an opportunity. It's the presence of mind and the confidence to then step through that portal and to really maximize the opportunity. So preparedness and preparation coming together, and confidence as well. So these are the things to work on this month. It's in health, but it will help you with wealth. But it can also help you make healthy changes in your life and help you turn a new corner. This has been a common theme this month. Really finding a way to change the energy, to change the the trajectory, so that some really cool things can happen. Okay, let's look at all of the cards in front of us and see what additional messages are coming through for health. My mind and my eye were drawn directly to the Six of Pentacles in the environment. And for many of you, again, going back to the traditional card, you might be lacking the balance that you seek, working too much, not having enough time to focus on what's important. Some of you, in fact, are doing so much for others, there's nothing left, the scales are out of balance, and you have a hard time focusing. So achieving that perfect balance in the environment, this typically would be work and extracurricular, but it could also be family demands. Whoever and whatever around you is taxing resources, you've got to hold the line and have good boundaries. It may be difficult for some of you to focus or concentrate. Maybe because there is anxiety over, can I do this? Will I be okay? Some of you might be traveling too much because this is representing you. I like that what people are seeing of you this month are you're outspoken and you take action. But some of you may legitimately be traveling way too much, and that could be taking a toll on your ability to concentrate. So definitely that's one example of where to draw the line and say, I need some time to myself. Let's see what else is going on for you. Okay, heightened emotions across the board. So obviously sleep, diet, exercise will all help with that. And again, talking to someone as needed. Some of you had a close brush with a close call where something, could have gone one direction and you're so happy that it didn't. And allow that to be the wake-up call that you need. And basically in this moment, you're going to say, all right, I'm going to choose a different path moving forward. This is reinvention, personified by a card. So this is your chance to do that. And I think this new chapter is really so much more inviting and for many of you, manageable than what you've been doing before. Again, going back to what we talked about, taking off the mask and being more authentic and being willing to take that leap of faith, I think is going to be so important. Let's move on to wealth, resources, life purpose, and career. The message you got, we got such a perfect energy. Lakshmi is all about wealth. There's actually a mantra coming through with this particular deity's name. So it's good, flow of prosperity. I saw you opening up the locker. I saw a check. I was excited when I saw a lot of zeros on it. So I think this is a really good time to negotiate, to request, to articulate what it is that you need, what it is that you want, what it is that might be missing as well. All right, specifically looking at the cards, you've got enough with the Six of Pentacles, some of you, but you could get more here because we've got the King of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles. What does it boil down to? Kind of what I was talking about before. You have to really find a way to articulate and demonstrate the vision. There can't be room for indecision. There can't be room for ambiguity. So if and when you're ready to have one of those core conversations or key conversations with someone, there has to be this sense of really feeling your worth, understanding their challenges, but articulating that this is a reasonable request. How can you make it happen? Just go in with empathy, with data, and with confidence. You have a really good chance of getting what you want, especially this month. Whatever you're trying to do, we have the Six of Wands here in the outcome. So you have a very good chance of accomplishing goals, okay? What are the challenges this month? A lack of clarity or indecision. Some of you may say, Nicholas, I don't know what I want to do next. I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I've never had to think about that. That's okay. You have a chance to think about it now. Some of you may say, I really like, this part of my life or this part of my job, but I wish I had more of this. Good. Knowing what you want is just as important as knowing what you don't want. Finding a way to make that happen, that's your challenge this month. And that's where you talk to an advisor or you see what else is out there. Ultimately, I think that if you want to step out and do your own thing, you've already made that decision. You just came here today to hear me say that, because judgment reverse is disbelief. So some of you you know what you need to do, but you don't believe or you're not sure what to do about it because it's kind of unexpected. This card is also saying if you want someone to believe you, you have to believe it going into the conversation. And if you're not there yet, that's what you're going to focus on this month, is really getting into that energy that you believe in yourself. I like that we have a celebration card in the crowning position. We have opportunities and ideas boiling here, and then we have success here. So it's a good trajectory, but we have to get past disbelief. We have to find better balance this month. And for some of you, there's a lot of travel or distance. You could feel like checked out, or you might have a hard time connecting with those around you. So one thing that I will say with these two is if there's an important conversation, it needs to be done in person. A remote one is going to just fall on deaf ears. It's not going to work out. But we have flow of prosperity. I saw the unlocked sort of metaphor. And again, going back to what I talked about at the very beginning, in case you just joined, there's so many things that came through with this. Untapped potential. You might have forgotten about something, a hidden opportunity. You might have to ask in order to receive something. You might have forgotten about an investment, or there might be something going on and people aren't talking about it because they can't talk about it. So dig a little deeper this month. You might be surprised in what you find if you do that. It's a good archaeological month when it comes to this flow of prosperity. All right, let's move on to the next component, which I know many of you love. It's love itself. The energy around love is the vision quest, the desert. This card came through in the reverse state, which is saying for some of you, you may not have given yourself a chance to sort of think about this. It may be something where there has just been a desert, a dearth of opportunity for a while. So When there isn't something in our life, that doesn't mean that it won't be there forever. It means you have some clarity or some space right now in order to dream, in order to decide. Take advantage of that. For those of you in a relationship, the desert could be a lack of investment from both sides. Let's break it down and get more specific. So for those of you that are currently in a relationship, we'll start with you, then we'll go to looking for love or single. If you're in a relationship, the main energy at the center here, first of all, I like that we have evenly matched folks here. So we have the King of Pentacles, the King of Wands. I like it when I get two queens or kings because we're not really looking at a power struggle so much. We see people who know who they are and they know what they're looking for. But you do value different things. This one is analytical, very sort of needs to see it in black and white. This is very out of the box, very sort of follows your gut, is open to new and unexplored things, very innovative. So you have to meet in the middle of practical and innovation, and those can be challenging sometimes. We see similar things going on with this because it's just, I feel like you guys knew that when you got into it. So we just see like the older version here. What can you focus on this month? Possibilities. Not limits, not just data, but possibilities. So we're leaning into the King of Wands energy just a little bit. What's going on with the relationship? There could be some punctuated highs, something worth celebrating. There could be a big decision at hand, and one of you's already made your mind up, but you really need the other partner to kind of give that rubber stamp of approval. So it's about coming together and seeing what's best for the two of you. Can you make it through this month in a successful way? Yeah. You're going to talk about possibilities. You're going to acknowledge what you probably already know about the other person, and then support them, or vice versa. You'll say, you probably knew something was going on. Here's what it is. Can I count on you for this? Because I'm really excited. Now, there could be, the only wrinkle I'm seeing is if one of you needs to move somewhere, and it might be a decision where the other person has to make some major life changes. There could also be a request or even just discomfort with how distant one partner has been. So there could be travel, there could be distance, emotional or communication-wise. We're trying to break through that, find better balance, and find somewhere where both of you can gain something from this experience. But overall, I like what I see. You should be open-minded this month, and I think you can get through things. If you're single and looking, you have a lot of options coming through. It feels like something in the past needs to be cleared up first. But one thing that I see is some of you might be calling in a partner that has a family, or you might be bringing in children as well. This could also just represent your fur babies, but I'm seeing a blended family here, and that could work. You know, there's just questions and things you've got to clear out a little bit. I think it's good to know that the person's unattached. We didn't get a devil, we didn't get a moon card, so I'm not really that worried about it. But to know what's going on outside of your relationship so that you guys can figure out how much time and energy you have for each other. I do think that there's a couple things that you want to focus on right now, which is some of you may just be too busy. You're coming and going too much. You need to figure out how to create more space in your life for that person to show up. Once you've done that, it looks pretty good. This is past life energy when I'm reading for new love. So you've probably loved before and you're going to love again. It can be like beyond this lifetime. It could also be someone from this lifetime. It feels like for you, I'd love a little more clarity. This is question marks, and it's hard for the universe to show up when there's too many question marks. So we have like just a myriad of different people, and it's hard to pick one. So I would say be pickier, be more discerning, and you don't have to just sort of like settle for something that doesn't feel right for you. And when it comes to if you're on any apps or anything like that, just be yourself. Make sure that whoever then swipes in your direction is getting the real deal. Okay. If you're single and happy, I think it's an ideal time to be single and happy because I see growth in personal growth and career growth, 6 of Wands. I think money and investments are also going in a really good direction. And you might have more time to lean into this travel energy as well. So you're not going to be alone though. You already have a good core support team around you. So also tap into that if you'd like to. Now moving on to the energy of destiny. This is a longer card, so let me hold it up so we can read it. It says, the moment that I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. To me, this is basically the judgment card. You know what to do, you just have to take the first step. Or someone else has already decided what to do, and all you have to do now is figure out, well, that was their choice. I can't really control or change that. I can control or change or affect my reaction or my next step. And in doing so, you're like this cute little kid in the spotlight. You get to reimagine and you get to restart a new and exciting chapter. So that's cool. It's saying there is something that you're holding back that you just have to unlock, just like I saw with that locker metaphor. And then that's when really cool things start to transpire. We're going to now take a look at sun, rising, and moon messages and see what's coming through for those of you that are watching for those parts of your chart. Sun, rising, and the moon. Okay. So the energy for the sun is basically surrounding patience. We can see that enlightenment comes through this pause. The Hanged Man has a nimbus or halo around their head. In this card, it's the moon, so it's about reflection. And then we're seeing the ability to connect to passion, to the heart, to basically really get aligned to what's important. So slow down and know that you're exactly where you need to be in this very moment in time. And this card is usually saying, be like a sponge, soak up the lesson, look around, see things from literally sometimes just looking in a different direction, get a different perspective on your life and your situation, then move. So once the pause has happened, then there is this absolute feeling that, okay, that chapter's done. I know what I want, and this is how I'm going to do it. Then you can go and have that conversation or that negotiation, or you can just wake up tomorrow and think, it's going to be fine. I know where I'm headed. So this is really where I think your energy is going, is planning, dreaming, and deciding. As we look at rising and ascendant, we have the Page of Cups in reverse. This, of course, is a highly receptive card. It's one of the best cards when you're communicating to get your passion or your point across, because you can almost pull people in with just the way in which you're communicating. When it's reversed, though, it's saying, before you take the next step, you need to heal the heart, clear the mind, clear the energy, so that you're not carrying in any sort of preconceived notions or any sort of baggage, whether it's emotional or it's or even just sort of like thoughts that are coming through. The other thing with this is about listening to what's being said on an intonation or empathetic level. So you know that sometimes when people say everything's I'm fine, that's different than, oh no, I'm fine. One, I'm fine is agitated and angry and just trying to push someone off. One is saying, yeah, I'm actually good. But if someone says, I'm fine, they're not really fine. It's a question. Listen to how the words are delivered to you. And if there is a question that you have about that, say, let's just talk for a second. I hear what you're saying, but I feel like there might be more to talk about, and then we can get going. So pause. Ask a second or a third time, kind of like when you see someone and you're like, are you good? Yeah, I'm good. No, really, is everything good? You might have to ask a couple of times before you actually get to the truth. So listen and pay attention, and also listen to yourself. And that's what this page is really inviting you to do. Then it's receptive. Then you can pull in good things. It could be an invitation for love. It could be some other opportunity. But first things first, you have to know how you feel and how you are. And this has to be balanced out before you engage with someone or something else, okay? For moon messages, we have the Hermit in reverse. And this is a card that is very experienced, very wise, very learned. So when it comes through reverse, it's typically saying you've done the work, you might be doing too much. You could be overthinking, overworking, overanalyzing it. It's inviting you to come out and share your ideas, your knowledge, your experience with others, and to step into the spotlight. Normally the Hermit has a lantern. We see it absent here. But that lantern will have a star in it. The star represents the star power, the growth, the expansion. We can't keep it in the lantern forever. This is your month to break free of all of that. And if we go back to the card that I chose to illustrate today, it was the Eight of Swords, which was basically imagining what's possible and thinking beyond. And so this is your chance to sort of also come out of that sometimes self-imposed prison that we create for ourselves and do something bigger, do something brighter. And now is the moment, all right? But you've done the work. You are more prepared than you may imagine, and that's what that message is all about. All right, we're now going to move on to the final card. This month, if you want to look at the meditation, it's a separate video. I'll link it below. For the final card, just focus on one question that I haven't yet answered. It can be anything here on the table or anything else that's not been covered. And we'll pull a single card to see what Spirit wants to say to guide you. Wow, we have a partnership energy coming through because we got the King of Pentacles, so now we've got the Queen of Pentacles. Suffice it to say, this is one of the absolute best cards I could pull at the very end of a reading because all of the queens have this quality, but especially this particular queen. She is very good at creation. She represents, second only to the Empress, that maternal energy or that nurturing energy or birthing energy. So she's one of the mothers in tarot. So if you're trying to create something, if you want to have a green thumb and make something grow, this is the card you want to pull. And remember, we had Lakshmi come through as well for wealth this month. So you have a chance to take anything and make it more. You can basically infuse that energy of growth into things. You can take an idea and really let that also grow. So I love the nurturing energy, the birthing energy, the boss energy, the money energy, and also the mother energy that came through. Possibly, I say I love the Queen of Wands, but the more I think about it, the Queen of Pentacles is amazing because she can touch all of those categories. The reason I like the Queen of Wands is she's kind of magical and she can overcome an issue. But this one can also say, you know what? I can make that more than you think it can be. So I love all of that energy. The main thing that I would say here is don't be afraid to take ownership, to lead the charge, or to really kind of get a group of people around you that you trust. You have the ability to be more of a leader than you might even imagine, okay? This is a great month, folks, for you. Definitely a chance for you to bounce back, for you to create something new. I think the main thing that you have to do is just decide what it is that you want, and that's going to be the key component to success. If you enjoyed today's reading, and I hope you did because I had a lot of fun doing this for you, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up and also leave a comment below. Not only are those comments really informative and helpful for me, but it also helps other people discover this video, so thank you in advance. I'd love for you to follow me across social media as well. My links are right here. You can also go to my website if you have any questions. A quick reminder, I don't give private readings. There's a lot of people out there that pretend to be me and other people. So just if anyone's offering a reading, you know it's not me. The only place to show up for readings, and they're always free, is here on YouTube. Thank you in advance to everybody that gave back today with super stickers, super chat, membership, or anything of that nature. All of that really, really helps. And I just want to say thanks for building such an awesome community and for allowing me to show up here. Thanks to YouTube as well. It's so great to have this platform and this community. I'm very grateful. From my heart to yours, I wish you the best in the month ahead. You can check out all of my videos on the main channel page. I hope to see you around here. And until then, wishing you all the best now and always. Bye-bye.